Today I'm just fucking around. So I've got this test next week for the EPA certification in California. So I'm just gonna install the software here and try to try to study a little bit, practice whatever. So practicing EPA tests here. I mean, the company bought me this fucking all this shit, dude, like the whole book and all that bullshit, and then the computer software that comes with it, and they're paying for me to go take the test. First time I was like, shit, and I took the test and I passed the core, which is like you need the core to get certified in anything. So you pass the core test, and then there's three tests: type 1, type 2, and type 3. Type 1 is for small appliances like refrigerators and shit. And then type 2 is the one I'm trying to get, and it's for high pressure appliances like air conditioners and shit like that. That's the one I need. And then there's type 3 for low pressure systems. So I can technically get certified in all three if I pass the test. When I took the first test, check it out. It's fucking um of the four tests you take four tests in one day. It's fucking gnarly. But then every time you pass a test, you don't have to take that test again when you go to take the other test. So on core, I scored 23 out of 25, dude. I only got two questions wrong on core, which is passing. 18 out of 25 is passing. So I passed core, which means now if I pass type 2, I'm automatically certified in it. Um, on the last test I took on type 1, I got 15 out of 25. So if I would have got three more right, I would have been certified type 1. I got 15 right on type 2 last time, and I got 16 right on type 3 last time. So if I would have just answered three more questions right on each test, I'd be universally certified already. But I'm studying for type 2, so I know I'm going to get type 2 this time. Type 1, I'm a little iffy on. Type 3 is kind of hard. So, that's going to take its very own studying to get. But I'm almost positive that this test that I'm taking next week, I'm going to get certified for type 2 high pressure appliances. And then I'll be able to fucking service these air conditioners and shit. Maybe I'll be able to make more money. I don't know. But it's good to be able to have, anyways. Be able to say I have it. But if I get lucky, or if I like really buckle down and try to study type 1 right now, I might be able to get certified in type 1 and type 2 next week. So that's what I want to try to do. If they let me use the book on the test, then I have a fair chance. But I'm sure I can pass type 2 right now with no fucking book and just straight up taking the test. So the software I got has study guides and stuff, and it's got booklets, and it also has practice tests, and that's what I use it for. I'm just gonna take a bunch of fucking practice tests and just try to get answers of questions stuck in my head to where anytime that question's ever asked again, just the answer is right there automatically. And then hopefully these questions are on the tests or similar ones. Alright, to magnifier here. Alright, so let's take some practice tests. I'm going to do a quick type 2 test just because type 2 is really the one that I need. Like, it'd be cool to get type 1, but type 2 is the one I need. Um, so I'm going to do a type 2 real quick just to see where I'm at, if I remember everything. And then I'll go and I'll do a type 1 and type 2 test. So, practice. Let's go type 2. After installing a new split system AC unit, the next step is to, and I know because I study this shit. How many of y'all know the answer? I'm gonna give y'all a minute to try to read these. Let me fix my shit real quick. I have to do it with the magnifier off. That messed me up. Alright. Anyway, that should do it. Alright. That's better. Now it makes sense. Anyways, I know after you install a new split system AC unit that the next step you gotta do is you gotta pressurize the motherfucker with nitrogen. Leak check the system. What is an acceptable trace gas? Well, I know that nitrogen is an acceptable trace gas. Let's see what these answers are. Nitrogen mixed with a trace amount of R22. Nitrogen with a trace amount of the system's design refrigerant. Yeah, that's about right. Nitrogen with a trace amount of R410A, so either A or B. Those are two different things. So it's not that. And it wouldn't be either of these because it's a trace gas, right? So it's like the thing is you can't mix the gases. So if you got 410A, yeah, nitrogen with the trace amount of the system's design refrigerant. Easy. According to the EPA, soap bubbles are best too. Now, maybe according to the EPA, but everybody should know this. Uh, use that shit to find leaks, refrigerant leaks. Look at that. Because, if gas is leaking or even water, it'll cause bubbles. So, boom. Dirty coil fins. What? Chiller tube barrels? I don't know. I don't think so. Oil leaks in the coil fin area. That's odd. Pinpoint refrigerant leaks. Easy. You must calculate the leak rate. Yeah, I'm pretty sure retrofit or new install. I may be wrong on that one though. That one might be a wrong answer. Why do manifold gauge set hoses have self-sealing connectors or hand valves on the noses? Well, obviously to reduce the leak, prevent trapping liquid refrigerant in the hoses. Well, okay, because yeah, okay. Should minimize refrigerant losses in the hoses connected to, yeah, okay. So I'm sure the EPA requires them, and I'm sure that's true. So both B and C. Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with that. I mean, I'm sure it might help with that, but it doesn't have, that's not why they're there. During a TXV repair, refrigerant was recovered from the system. The refrigerant what? Can be charged back into the same system after repairs are made to the system and a leak is checked and properly evacuated. That sounds about right to me. Refrigerant can be sold because it's probably okay. That sounds like a dumb answer. Must be reclaimed because it is a major system repair. I don't know about whether or not the system repair being major or not has anything to do with whether or not you need to reclaim refrigerant. I don't think it does. Must be destroyed because it's a major. So yeah, you're not destroying refrigerant. So it's got to be charged back into the system. Absolutely, yeah. And I know that you can do that because you take it out, you can put it right back in. Obviously, it's not like you're mixing it with anything. System with the large liquid receiver needs a major system repair to place a faulty TXV. When servicing the unit, the compressor should be isolated. The liquid refrigerant should be recovered last. The refrigerant should be recovered or isolated in the receiver. The refrigerant or liquid receiver can be vented. System with a large liquid receiver needs a major system repair. Large liquid receiver. Refrigerant should be recovered or isolated in the receiver, the large one that is there available. A hermetic compressor will overheat if operated in vacuum because it's not getting cooled off right. Um, it runs faster when operating in a vacuum. The compressor motor uses the flow of refrigerant through the compressor for cooling. Yep, that's the one. Oil has lower lubricity when exposed to a vacuum. Off gassing of acid from oil causes the compressor to overheat. Next. Recovering refrigerant as a vapor minimizes the removal of what from the system? Hold on, let me read that. Vapor minimizes moisture, acid, no. Oil. I'm saying oil. Positive because non-condensable gases would come out, obviously. Vapors, water, and all that shit would can be gassed out. Oil, dude, obviously. An HVAC company must keep records for each disposed appliance with a charge of between 5 and 50 pounds for 3 years. Next. Refrigerant should be removed from the condenser outlet when the condenser is below the receiver, man. Everybody knows that. A condenser is above the evaporator. Yeah, below the receiver. Condenser's underneath it. It's the lower of the two. If leaks in a system make the recovery to a required evacuation level unattainable, or if reaching this level of evacuation would draw air into the recovered refrigerant, like if there's a leak, essentially, you are only required to recover down to a pressure of 0 psig. Yeah, because you're pulling air into the system as you're trying to create a vacuum. Which repair is always considered a major system repair under EPA's regulations. The replacement of a condenser is always a major system repair for sure. I don't know what all this shit says, but a condenser is always a major system repair for sure. EPA approved recycling and recovery equipment must be tested by EPA approved third party and have a label verifying it meets EPA requirements. Yeah, I would imagine. Be equipped with low loss fittings, definitely. Be certified for use with the refrigerant being recovered. Or yeah, all of the above on that one. After reaching the required recovery vacuum on a system, immediately open the system before there is any more outgassing. Wait at least a few minutes to see if the system pressure rises. Break the vacuum with compressed air. Purge the system. Yeah, nah, dude. After reaching the required recovery vacuum on the system, to wait at least a few minutes to see if the pressure rises. Obviously. Then you'll know if there's a leak. Duh. It's against EPA regulations to use a system dependent recovery unit when normal charge of the system is more than 5 pounds. Ambient temperature is over 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Appliance contains over 15 pounds of refrigerant. Boom. Yep. Anything over 15 pounds, you have to use the fucking or like a recovery unit, not a system dependent one. A system dependent one uses the fucking system itself to pump all the shit out, and then the recovery unit itself is the pump. If you have to open an R410 system with a normal charge of 250 pounds to replace. Did I hit that one right? Yeah, 15 pounds of refrigerant. You have to open an R410A system with a normal charge of 250 pounds to replace a compressor. You must evacuate the system to 10 inches of HD vacuum. That's just a fact. You are changing out the compressor of a system containing 40 pounds of R404A. You must isolate the compressor. Vent the refrigerant in the compressor 0 psig and remove the compressor. Isolate the compressor. Evacuate the isolated section of the system to psig to 0 psig. And if the system pressure does not rise after a few minutes, see how that is in there? That is actual procedure. Remove the compressor. Yeah, that has to be the correct one because it's got all the shit in it, but it's like none of the other ones say wait a few minutes, see if the pressure rises. Vent the refrigerant from the entire system because the compressor's bad. Calculate the leak rates. I have a substantial leak before removing the compressor. Yeah, definitely isolate the compressor, evacuate the isolated section of the system to 0 psig, and then yeah, if the pressure doesn't rise, remove the compressor. Yep, definitely. If you backseat compressor discharge shut off valve, that's when you close the gauge port. When charging a system that uses water cooled heat exchanger, the unit should be initially charged with refrigerant vapor to a pressure that corresponds to a saturation temperature above. Whoa, let me read that shit. When charging a system that uses a water cooled heat exchanger, 60 degrees, I think, initially charged with refrigerant vapor to a pressure that corresponds to a saturation temperature above. Yeah, because it's water cooled, right? I might be wrong about that one. The indicating strip in a sight glass indicates if what is present in the refrigerant by changing color, moisture, and acid. Pretty sure. Could just be acid though. Fuck. I might get that one wrong too. Damn. Well, I hope I don't miss fucking more than 7, because that's a fail. To determine the type of refrigerant used in a 90-ton package rooftop unit, check the unit nameplate. Yeah, for sure, dude. They're supposed to be written on that shit. Measure the saturation temperature and pressure. Measure the sub. Why wouldn't you just read the nameplate? It's regulated to say that shit right on top of the fucking nameplate. Pressure relief valve should never be installed in series, parallel, recovery tanks. Yeah, in series, obviously. Installing pressure relief valves in a series. Every refrigerating system must be protected by. Yeah, pressure relief valve. Uh, what? It's a weird way. If the blank, comma, a reciprocating compressor could be damaged if energized. Reciprocate. Oh, so if you turn it on. Discharge service valve, suction service valve. To discharge. Yeah, because you're not giving it anywhere to go. Wait a minute though. Hold on. Suction close. That can't be good for it, is it? No, it's okay. All of the above though. That's a tempting one, but I'm pretty sure it's just the discharge that's a problem. So let's check that out. Yeah. All right. So I'm done with the type 2 test. Um, should we score it? What was that other one? So there was a couple that I wasn't sure of. This one, indicating strip in a sight glass indicates if what is present in the. Let's just fucking. Let's just grade it, man, and see how I did. Fuck it. Core section didn't take. All right. Type 2 section. 22 out of 25, so that's a passing grade. Um, but I did fail 3 questions, so that'll be interesting to see what I miss. Learn them so I don't miss them on the actual test. What did I say? You must calculate the leak rate every time you top off a system that has a normal charge of 50 pounds or more. What did I say? Retrofit or new install is what I said. So every time you top off a system could have been it, but it's every time you top off a comfort cooling system. Okay. The way they worded it, yeah, I mean, that's an easy one to miss. Every time you top off a system that has a normal charge of 50 pounds or more. So it's 50 pounds is the limit uh, on topping off system. So if you're topping off a system, you're good. But if you're topping off a system that has a 50-pound charge or more, then you need to calculate the leak rate. Gotcha. Gotcha. So 50 pounds is when you calculate leak rate on a top off. Gotcha. Okay, I'm gonna try to remember that. Like when you're topping off, if the unit's 50 pounds or more on a normal charge, then you have to check the leak rate. Got all of these right, man. That's cool. The indicating strip on a sight glass indicates if moisture is present, not acid. Gotcha. I was gonna say B and C for a second, but it's just moisture. It doesn't tell you about acid. There is acid in there, but that's not what the indicating strip is for. I know that if you get ice on the sight glass, you're supposed to clean it off with rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. What was the other one I missed? Oh, I got two right here. When charging a system that uses a water cooled heat exchanger, the unit should be initially charged with, with refrigerant vapor to a pressure that corresponds to a saturation temperature above what? 32. I wonder if that's because that's when water freezes. I mean, that makes sense, I guess. Because below that, it's water cooled, right? Below that, you would freeze. Water cooled 32. I was thinking 60 because that was like the cooling temperature of the water and above the freezing temperature of the water. So, I mean, I would imagine if it's below 32, it's bad, and then if it's above 32, it's not as good. So 32 for water cooled heat exchangers. Gotcha. Moisture. And then 50 pounds. That's still a passing fucking score, though, man. 22, um, 22 out of 25. So, not too horrible. I don't want to take another one again right away. I'm going to just marinate on those. Alright, yeah. I'm going to stop this video here and then I'm going to think about that for a little bit. And I might come back and just like take another sample test. I might try type 1. I haven't studied at all for type 1, so you'll see me fail miserably on that, I'm sure.